Flight Enquiries, Old Trafford bubble. James wants to know, oh, his name's Investor Bod, fancy. But James wants to know, which is more serious, Alex Hales' misdemeanor or Jofra Archer's? Arguably, Archer endangered the health of his teammates and the viability of a whole summer of international cricket, even if the odds were very low. It's a bit harsh. I mean, I get it.
No, come on, you answer.
That is a tough one, because you're right. He doesn't really threaten anybody else. And I suppose the threat of threatening other people and a whole summer of cricket or other tours, then that makes it sound a lot worse. But then, of course, when drugs are involved in anything, that just automatically sounds bad too. So I feel like we're slightly talking about two different things, though. But I mean, both were no-nos. They've definitely been slapped in the face for it. I'm sure they'll move on from it and learn.
Well, I don't know, because Alex Hales hasn't moved on, has he? That's the point. He hasn't been allowed to move on. That was basically, cheers, Alex, thanks for coming. Ah, well.
But
I suppose, are we in the same territory now with Jofra?
Has Alex Hales' misdemeanor been the only thing that's keeping him out of the England team?
Very good point. That's why the papers are all quoting you. It's really interesting, isn't it? We did an interview earlier. Not one word of what I said was reported by anyone. And the papers have all been through your Instagram accounts, used various pictures of you looking all glam. What's the matter with me? Don't answer. Did you see the pictures of Jofra they were using? There's one particular picture I like where, I mean, it might appear he's doing something slightly risque with a girl, but my theory is that she's just lost a contact lens and she's bent down to pick it up. And he hadn't realised, and he just bumped into her. I don't know what's going on. I think that's what's happening in that picture.
I think you're right. And you know what, George, if you've ever been to Carnival in the Caribbean, then I think I'm going to take you. And then you'll see how easy it really is to lose your contact lenses, because a lot going on. To Gautam, he says, what is the culpability of the ECB in the Jofra Archer fiasco? Wouldn't it have been easier to hire multiple coaches and transport the players? That's an interesting thing, because they were talking to Chris Silverwood just right after the match, and they pitched that question to him, and he said logistically it makes a nightmare, because where do players leave their cars? They're obviously all over the country. So what do you think, George?
So I don't think the ECB are to blame at all. I'm, as people will know, very happy to give the ECB a good blaming when necessary. But what have they done wrong? I mean, look, they've laid down rules. Just follow them.
Chris Ward asks, is Roston Chase the bowler the greatest threat to England since the marauding Scots had a crack at Hadrian's Wall? Very good question.
I think I'm just going to say no, but he keeps doing very well. And it was quite clever this morning, wasn't it? It was quite clever. You know, I know it looks like a real sucker's punch the way Zach Crawley was out. First ball, sort of turning the ball to leg slip. But, you know, it's instinctive to do it, really.
Rob Sutton asks, why didn't Sibley run down the pitch to chase and get bowled for 20? That's what proper England openers do, right?
Well, I think what he is suggesting there is that there was criticism today of Sibley for batting too slowly. I don't know that there was too much criticism of him. And I very much hope there wasn't, because what England's problem has been in recent years is not so much scoring too slowly as being bowled out too quickly. And Sibley is exactly what they've been after. He is stubborn.
I got a lot of time for a batsman that goes out there and says, look, I'm not moving. I'm not going to be tempted or lured into your fancy deliveries. I'm staying here and putting up shot. Abijato asks, what's more irresponsible? Jofra Archer breaching the biosecurity protocols, or someone telling Ed Smith that Denley's replacement scored a duck?
I don't suppose that went unnoticed. Well, you probably saw in my preview piece, I compared it to that last scene in Titanic, with Kate Winslet's Let's Go. Very, very sad. I am not saying that Joe has ever said, paint me like one of your French girls. To Ed Smith, I'm not saying that. I want to make that really clear.
Jack Mendel asks, is Kemar Roach the unluckiest bowler in the world right now? No wickets in 3 innings, but has bowled pretty well. Now, did you see, this one, George, keeps me up at night. Because in all this talk about Kemar getting his 200th wicket, we did a nice feature. Our colleagues, we went mental. We got Courtney Walsh to say some wonderful words on Kemar. And before the first test, I said, gee, I hope we haven't jinxed him or anything. And now I lay up at night. If you guys want to know what keeps me up at night, this keeps me up at night. Chris Ward asks, should Steve Harmison have Shannon Gabriel done for plagiarism for stealing his bullet straight to second slip routine?
Yeah, he did do. I mean, he looked very, very stiff, didn't he?
Very.
I couldn't believe he came back on. You can see why England have rested a couple of their bowlers and now Jofra. You know, I cut him some slack because he gives his all. It's really hard work.
And finally, Hugh Lloyd asks, who is in the room next to George Dobell where he's staying in Manchester? This is another question that I would like to know as well.
This is in reference to a tweet I sent, isn't it? Which suggested the people next to me were quite noisy in Southampton.
Is noisy? Is that what we call it these days?
But it kept it up for about, I don't want to exaggerate, let's say 6 or 7 minutes, very high intensity. I thought, good effort. I thought to myself, I must be doing it wrong. Anyway, I thought a lot of things. I thought I'd turn my music up. And then, about 10 minutes later, they did it again. So do you know who's opposite me here? The Dushan Kemar Roach was opposite me.
Oh, good boy.
And Will McPherson is there as well. We're all very close on the same floor in our hotel. So I'm expecting it to be extremely quiet, apart from the odd sob as they realise the plight of their own lives.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube, and for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app, and for premium content plus live streaming, make sure to subscribe to ESPN Player.